Today, we are going to color in our cityscape shapes. Each shape, we're going to make one color, but we're going to make new colors because in each shape, we're going to blend 2 oil pastels to make a new color. Let's begin. Hello, my talented artists. Support the arts and subscribe. Every drawing is made up of shapes, and if you look at your cityscape, you're going to be able to name some of the shapes that you have created. Each shape is going to be colored in with 2 oil pastels, and we are going to blend them. So the first thing you're going to do is decide which shape you want to color in. So I'm going to start with this shape. It's almost like a semicircle, but not quite. I'm going to start with green, and I'm going to lightly color in. The harder you press, the darker your oil pastel color will be. I am pressing medium, and if you notice, I'm making little circles with my hand. And this makes the color even. But you can see there is still white peeking through. Our goal is to have no white peeking through. And we want to stay inside the lines when we're coloring. So my second color that I'm going to blend or mix with green is going to be yellow. And I'm going to color it in a special way. I'm going to start by making a little wall around the edge of the shape without going outside of the line. I'm going to make a line that is right up against the line or the outline of your shape. So instead of just coloring back and forth like that, if this line is curved and it goes like this, that's the way I'm going to make my line. I like to think of it as building a protective wall, and you can see what happens when you blend this shade of yellow with that shade of green. It changes, it makes a new color. So now that I have gone all the way around my shape and made a little protective wall, I'm going to use that little circle motion to blend and mix up these 2 colors to make my new color. I'm going to look carefully and see if there's any white spots. Oh, I see a little tiny white spot. I'm going to color that in. Good, I think that one's done. Now don't worry, your oil pastels will get a little dirty, but that's okay. Don't worry about that. That happens. Let's try a bigger shape. Now, we are using our finger and hand muscles, so you might get tired. If you get a little tired, you can just shake out your hands. We're going to try this big square. I'm not sure if it's a square or a rectangle, but it's pretty close to a square if it's not quite a square. Okay, I'm going to start with a dark blue color. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edge, the outline of my shape. Now I see this is a straight line. This is a straight line, so I'm going to lightly color a straight line. I'm building up my wall again. I don't want to color outside, so I'm not just going to go color, 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 color. If I do that, it'll poke right out. So again, this line is straight, but it's a different direction. It goes up and down. That's called vertical. It's a straight vertical line. I'm going to go around all the edges. This is the outline of my shape. And instead of coloring like this, and it might poke out a little bit, I'm going to color along the line. And I could, if I press hard, it looks different. So here's really pressing hard. Because I want to blend, I am pressing a medium amount. You can kind of experiment with what that's like by changing the amount of pressure that you're putting on when you're coloring in with your oil pastel. Now that I've built up a wall all around the outline of my square, I'm going to color it in, and I'm using a little circle motion. It kind of looks like a tornado. I'm going to use this little circle motion and color it in. Now, my circle motion is kind of big. It changes how it looks depending on how you move your hand. So if you move your hand back and forth, it makes the square look different. That surface looks different. If you make a little circle, if you make tiny circles, it looks different than bigger circles. So you can kind of experiment with that. Now remember that the goal is to make a new color and to cover all the white of the paper and to keep the color inside your shapes. So I've used dark blue. My second color that I'm going to pick is going to be I'm going to pick purple. Let's see what happens. So again, I want to make sure that I'm not going outside of my shape. I want to keep my color inside each shape. We have to aim like archers. I'm coloring in the same direction as the line, coloring right next to it. So if I'm going to color the bottom one, I should be coloring like that. If I color like this, scribble, 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 let me show you what happens. Uh-oh, popped right out. So we don't want that, but there's something cool about oil pastels. You can kind of scrape some of it off. You'll still see the marks, and that's, that's okay. But our goal is to not have lines and colors going out of our shape. So I'm going to go back to the recommended way, and I'm going to color in the direction of the line I'm coloring next to. Now, I'm going to do my circle blending. I'm trying to blend, but I don't think I have enough blue. I'm going to not press completely hard, not to completely fill it in with the purple. I'm going to press a medium amount and not color it all, and I'm still going to leave some white spots. The white spots allow you to blend. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my blue. I'd like you to just stick with two colors, and then you can kind of see what happens when you blend those two colors. Now, let's go a little darker. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm making a new color. You have to aim a little more carefully when you're going right next to the outline of your shapes. Let me get this done. And then when you go inside, you don't have to be quite as careful. Keep flip-flopping back and forth. It's purpley blue, bluish purple, purpley blue, bluish purple. I get to control that as the artist. I want you to experiment and see what happens when you are mixing two different colors together. Now, I have a question for you. Is this shape all finished? Look carefully. That's right, because we still need to aim for these white spots. So I'm going to go back to my blue, and I'm going to really aim. I'm going to look at what I'm doing. Just like I'm aiming to make a goal when I kick the soccer ball into the goal. Ooh, that's a pretty new color I made. All right, I'm going to speed up this video, and let's see what happens when we mix all kinds of color combinations together. Don't forget, even if you color in very thickly, you still need to blend, and that means you need to pick two colors. So I have one color here, same color here. Let's see what happens. I'm going to blend this mustardy gold color with pink. And I'm going to blend this same mustardy gold color with this blue. Let's see what happens. I have to be very careful going around any windows or inside shapes. Remember that we're trying to keep all the colors inside our shapes, and each shape has its own different color. I can't wait to see what you do.